Well, it was a very bad day today in Israel. The Israeli government decided, with all of the problems going on here with Arab gun running and weapons smuggling from Egypt into Israel, from Egypt into Gaza, from Jordan into Israel, with Iran rebuilding their rockets and missiles, and on and on and on and on, American encroachment on Israeli sovereignty, they decided that their most important number one priority was to, you guessed it, destroy Jewish settlements. Because why not? Because after all, everyone knows that the biggest danger to Israel are Jews. Jews that settle the land of Israel, the biggest danger. Story from Arad Sheva. Authorities begin demolition of Jewish homes in Gush Etzion outpost. Hundreds of police officers with heavy machinery raid Tzur Misgabi outpost, surrounding 25 homes ahead of demolitions. Residents warn of dangerous precedent. So let's see if we can get the video. It's kind of a brief video here. Let's just see what we can see. Now, if you can see all the tractors, all of this, getting ready, the government brought them in to destroy Jewish homes. Hundreds of police officers, accompanied by heavy machinery, on Monday morning raided the Givat Tzur Misgabi outpost in Gush Etzion. 25 families. Okay. The hilltop was established north of Metzad about 2 years ago on survey land, and succeeded in pushing back an encroaching Palestinian Authority takeover from the nearby village of Seir on the Canoe Bridge. So again, we see here Jews acting selflessly, settling the land of Israel, and pushing back on Arab encroachment on our homeland. And what does the government do? How do they reward them? They go in there and destroy their homes and destroy their families. This is what they do. Over the past 2 years, the outpost has grown and today includes more than 25 families. With a synagogue built at the site, obviously no concern whatsoever. Residents of the outpost said this is a demolition on a broad scale, the likes of which have not been seen in the past decade. Again, consider the priorities of the state of Israel at this very moment. This is what they're involved in. Jews are making their way there to prevent the demolition. Our friend Daniela Weiss of the Nachala movement issued a rare public statement calling on the public to come and resist. The public is urgently called to come and prevent the destruction. One only wonders, is Daniela Weiss supporting the individuals in this government like Ben Gvir, whose border police are the ones that destroy these settlements? Or we will see soon Bezalel Smotrich, who actually said this is a good thing. Is Daniela Weiss supporting these people? Perhaps. Perhaps she's looking for someone else to support, because this is really totally disgraceful. The unrestrained attack on Hilltop youth was a psychological prelude. Very important point. Very important point. We saw all week and last week as well about settler violence and how bad the settlers are. They're terrorists after all. It seemed as if a lot of this was coordinated. She raises a very good point. Meant to prepare the public for harm to settlement points. Very true. So it seems like Daniela Weiss, who's very good, is against this, which is a good thing to see, certainly. Now, let's look at those who incredibly are in favor of this. The West Bank, also known as Judea and Samaria, is very, very large. Very, very large. And there is an enormous amount of illegal Arab building in the West Bank. You might ask yourself, why would this be what they are involved in? Why would this specific point be where they focus their effort? It's an interesting question. Local leaders support Gush Etzion eviction. Anarchy and land grabs are out of bounds. Ooh, it's anarchy. It's anarchy. We got these Jews going all over the place, doing what? No, we can't have this. Yes, The Arab land grabs, that's not anarchy. That's not anarchy. But Jews? No. No, we can't have that. And consider, these people are not Tel Aviv cosmopolitans, right? These are not the ones who say, oh, end the occupation. No. These are the ones that come to your synagogue and raise money. We'll see some of these names. I'm sure you recognize some of them. And say how important it is to build the land of Israel, and we need to do this. They're the ones who are saying that this is good. You know what we call that here? Israel last. Following the eviction in Gush Etzion, Judea and Samaria leaders voiced support for Minister Smotrich, who he is the point man on this. But remember that. Come election time, remember, Bezalel Smotrich, point man on destruction of Jewish settlements. While denouncing violence, we will see the violence that they have denounced. We'll see, and we'll see who is actually perpetrating the violence that they denounce. So, following an eviction at the Tzur Misgabi hilltop outpost in Gush Etzion, local leaders from Judea and Samaria published an open letter voicing support for Minister Bezalel Smotrich, Gush Etzion Governor Yaron Rosenthal, and the government's land policy over the past 3 years. We are in an important age of building in Judea and Samaria. Destroying Jewish settlements. That is an important part of building in Judea and Samaria. Got it. Amazing. You see? They're the ones preventing the Palestinian Authority's wild takeover of state lands. You see, how do you prevent the Palestinian Authority from taking over Jewish land? Destroy Jewish settlements. Makes sense to me. Bezalel Smotrich, and executed by the Settlement Authority of the Defense Ministry. It's supported by local authorities. Sure. In the last video I did, we saw some of those local authorities. We'll see he's a signator on this letter. This Gvir Zambish, the one who told us that we need Arab labor, that we cannot exist without Arab labor, he's also one of the ones. So you noticing something? They're the same ones that malign Jewish youth and call them terrorists, destroy Jewish homes, and demand that we employ Arab labor. Religious Zionism. Israel last, Israel last, Israel last. That's what it is. The local leaders continued and called out the construction offenders on the hill. They're construction offenders. As I've said, the ones who employ the Arab enemy and stuff money in their pockets and prioritize destroying Jewish settlements, they're the ones that call Jewish heroes construction offenders. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There are those on the fringes to act anarchistically. They're anarchists. You see, because what we really need is orderly destruction of Jewish homes and Jewish property. There was a group of people in recent history who also, they destroyed Jewish property and attacked Jews in a very orderly fashion. I think it was in Europe somewhere, but I forget who it was. Anyway, let's get back to the story. Anarchy are out of bounds. Anarchy is out of bounds. No. Orderly. It's got to be orderly. It's got to be. Oh, I hope these people aren't of German extraction. We can't be having people talking about Jews and saying that we need to deal with them in an orderly fashion. That would really, that's what we would call bad optics. We cannot have this. This we should not have. Oh, anyway. They're saying we will build our land in a proper ethical and Zionist manner. Yes, as I've said, There's nothing screams Zionism more than hiring Arab labor. And it's ethical. It is ethical. What does that mean? No one knows. You know what ethical means? Ethical means that the courts say you can build somewhere. Ethical? These people are signing their own demise because the public is seeing this. This is the most shameless and Israel-last betrayal that you could possibly imagine. The letter was signed by quite a lot of losers who take money and, as I've said, will come to your local communities in the United States and everywhere else and beg you for money and explain, oh, we're doing great things. Let's see some of these losers. Yisrael Gans, Yossi Dagan, our friend Yossi Dagan. Let's see, anyone else that's interesting that jumps off the page here? Oh, a lot of fat cats, basically, is what this is. A lot of Israel-last fat cats. Well, of course, here we have our friend here. Let me just scroll up a bit. Amana Director General Zev Hever Zambish, like we said. Okay, this is a guy that we know very, very well. So let's see if we could pull up some things here. Elisha Yered has a very interesting post. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Friends, understand for a second what's happening here. Somehow this slipped under the radar, but in the background of the destruction currently taking place, there's a process taking place in the High Court of Justice demanding the return of the Arab infiltrators to the ridge where the hill is located. This is about a strategic ridge that overlooks the access road to the settlement of Gush Etzion. Again, we need to protect these ridges to protect people that use the highways and people that drive. I mean, how many stories do we read that Jews are ambushed on a highway and shot and in some instances killed? It overlooks the access road to the settlement of Gush Etzion, and until 2 years ago was filled for decades with dozens of structures of Arabs from the villages of Sair, who infiltrated the areas without any response from the authorities. Of course, because we know the authorities will only come when Jews show up. When Arabs are there, there's no problem. Bezalel Smotrich sits there as illegal Arab construction goes on, and he's got nothing to say about it. Ben Gvir has nothing to say about it. But when Jews show up, then it's a problem. Contrary to the delusional claims of Yaron Rosenthal, the destruction of the hill will simply pave the way for the return of the Arab infiltrators to the ridge. Of course it will. This is what the Arabs and their left-wing organizations demanded. And might I include the Americans? The Americans as well, and we will see this soon enough. And this is what's happening right now with the encouragement of the current idiot. I'm not sure which idiot he's referring to, but there's quite a few of them. When the Arabs controlled the ridge, residents even feared to hike there after being attacked in a series of incidents, let alone to settle there and establish hundreds of housing units like Rosenthal's hollow declarations. Do you understand what's happening here? Not only destruction, but also the return of the Arab infiltrators to the area under the guise of real estate claims. What else is new? Absolutely shameful. Absolutely shameful. But what else should we expect from the Israel-last criminals? What else should we expect from them? Let's take it from here. Let's take it from Bezalel Smotrich. I can't even look at his face. He's such a little traitor rat, this guy. Who could even look at his ugly face? But here it puts a smiley face on betraying the Jewish people. The smiling face of Israel last. We are developing the settlement, building everywhere. We don't need to be taught neither how to do Zionism nor how to do settlement. Ooh, that's right. Because again, ladies and gentlemen at home, understand. Because settlement in Zionism means destroying Jewish settlements and destroying Zionism. Now, people ask me, well, what exactly is the focus of Israel first? Why not? And they tell me, why not just say we need the strong right-wing government, right? That's what we should focus on. Forget this Israel first business. This is why. Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir are both considered right-wing nationalists, and this is what they deliver. We voted for Smotrich, we got Yair Lapid. Make no mistake about it. So then people would say, well, then what do we do? The answer is very simple. We find Israel first candidates and we support them. Because this is Israel last. Clearly. Clearly. Should we read more of this drivel? This morning, civil administration carried out the evacuation of uninhabited structures. Lies. Absolute lies. We'll watch the videos. We'll watch the videos of Jews being thrown out of their homes. So he's a liar. He is a shameless liar, Bezalel Smotrich. And no one should ever vote for him. No one should vote for him. The guy is the lowest of the low. Thousands of housing units. Housing units. Housing units. You know how many areas there are in the West Bank that have no Jewish settlement? And this is where they have to do it. Question. The Jews who chased away Arab infiltrators, the Jews who held this land for us, everyone always tells me, oh, the soldiers, they fight for you. These men and women on this outpost, they settled that land for us. And my question to Bezalel Smotrich is, okay, you know what? You're going to destroy it and say you're going to build something better. Is anything there going to be for them? The heroes on this hilltop, are they being rewarded for their sacrifice? Are they given an apartment or a house or anything like that? Because after all, they're the ones that did the hard work. Not the Israel last fat cats on that letter. They don't work. These people don't work. They sit behind closed doors and cut shady deals and hire Arabs. These kids are the ones that do the work. Are they being rewarded with land, with a home, with anything? We know the answer is no. There has been a dialogue. We hope it'll end in agreements. Israel last. Bezalel Smotrich is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The lowest of the lowest. Elisha Yered, though, says it very well. I'll let him take over for me. To this post, Elisha Yered, arrogant and a liar. Seems to be a very good description of Bezalel Smotrich, yes. Jews who spat blood to repel an Arab invasion that was built in the days when you were in power and lawlessness reigned are getting a knife in the back from you and your party members. Perfectly said. Much better said than me. Next time you look at the blocking percentage, she's referring, I believe, to the threshold, the electoral threshold. Think about how you got into the situation. Exactly right. Because remember, come election time, they're going to be out there begging us for our vote. They're going to be on their knees like a dog begging us for our vote. And hopefully we remember this day. Hopefully we look at him and say, we would rather vote for the Arab party than vote for you. Because at least with the Arabs, we know that they're our enemy. You put a smile on your face and stab us in the back. Let's see what Elchanan Groner has to say here. So he says he's getting quite a lot of inquiries about this. Beyond the evacuation, there's an event that's much, much larger. Struggles for control and power in Judea and Samaria. A lot of money and real estate mixed up with ideology and settlement of land. A lot of things that everyone clearly knows about, but no one talks about them, and no one will talk about them. People with a lot of rights, but who operate in a bullying manner and try to thwart movements and groups that think and work differently, while holding many people in sensitive positions. Let's see. Is there anything? This is related to the point of discussion about employing Arabs. Like we said in our last video, it's related to real estate control and land prices and all sorts of shady deals. It's related to young forces that have seized key positions in recent years in councils. to the generation of rabbis that's changing. It's related to the general elite turnover in Israel. Yeah, there is, like I said in the last video, a sort of civil war of sorts. No, who will claim the heart and soul of Zionism, the empty, soulless, profit first, Israel last crowd? Like sign this letter and cheer on the destruction of Jewish homes? Or blood and soil Zionists, Israel first heroes? That's the question. Who will dictate the future of this country? And from our good friend, the apex imperialist, I thought this was a very important tweet, but before I read his, let me see. I'm sorry, here, let me see. Here, this. Now, this is very interesting, okay? This was a tweet from Mordechai Kedar, who I hold in very low esteem, by the way. I know people like him very much. I do not. I don't care for him at all. But the thing about little Mordechai Kedar is that he does have his ear to the ground on a lot of things. Now, understand, he actually deleted this tweet. He deleted this tweet. But I think it's very interesting regardless to take a look at, because this tweet was from yesterday. Remember, this was before this expulsion and destruction of Jewish homes. So let's read it. Because, again, he deleted the tweet, but he writes, I learned from a source. So that's true, right? That's a true statement. You know, you just because you look back and delete a tweet doesn't mean that you didn't, in fact, have a source that told you this. I learned from a source that seems reliable that the Witkoff team has been working recently on a new outline for a solution to the Palestinian problem. Yes, well, we do know that there is a Palestinian problem, but let's see how Mr. Witkoff wants to handle it. Number one, Gaza will be sold as is to Israel, which sounds good, right? Israel will get Gaza, very nice. Israel will evacuate all settlements except Ariel and the Gush Etzion block. Now, consider what we saw today in light of this report. What it sounds like is that the Israeli government is going to tactically start destroying Jewish settlements in order that they can... I'm sorry, I jumped a little bit. I jumped just a bit. Number two, Israel will evacuate all settlements except Ariel and the Gush Etzion block. Residents of the settlements will be transferred to the Gaza Strip. Okay. Part of the Gazan Arabs will be transferred to Judea and Samaria and housed in the settlements that will be evacuated. So, let's see. Hold on. Can I move this page a little bit? 1 second. Let's see. Gazans who will not be transferred to the West Bank will be transferred to Egyptian territory. Okay, so what is this telling us? What this appears to be telling us is that the Israeli government has a different plan here. That's what it's telling us. That this is not simply a matter of, oh, we're just destroying the settlements so we can build something better. That's not what it sounds like. It sounds like the Americans have some kind of little plan. They're going to move West Bank Jews to the Gaza Strip, move Gazans to the West Bank, and we know what's going to happen, Palestinian State. So that report comes out yesterday. These events come out today. What does that tell you? It tells me that maybe this destruction of Jewish settlement is just the precursor of clearing out Jewish settlements in favor of a Palestinian state. And to add on top of that, the fact that Mordechai Kedar deleted this post, and he did, that's why I needed a screenshot, goes to tell me perhaps that the Israeli government wants to keep this quiet. Because why else delete that? Like I said, he heard it from somebody, so clearly, right, it wasn't like, oh, I just saw it somewhere and it was retracted. So that's a true piece of, like news or reporting. And he deleted it, which goes to tell me that he got an earful from somebody saying, you need to keep quiet about this. We don't want the public aware of the fact that we are clearing out Jewish settlements in favor of a Palestinian state. That is what's happening. That is what's happening. And finally, I wanted to get to my buddy Apex Imperialist for this tweet here, which I thought was very, very good and worth reading. The greatest problem of the Israeli right is their inability to show gratitude and reward their most loyal and ideological foot soldiers. Exactly like I said. These hilltop settlers are the best among us. They're the best of what we have. They go out there in terrible weather with enemies all around. They build makeshift structures in order to hold the land for the Jewish people. And what's their reward? So as Apex says, they reward the rich, the connected, but not the ideological foot soldiers who live in the harshest conditions to secure the national interest. Be those the men in the IDF or the hilltop youth who defend our land from Arab incursions. So now Smotrich is evicting hilltop youth from their home, claiming that the land is up for development. A man who actually appreciates their service would not evict them without warning. He would have rewarded them for their service appropriately. 1,000,000% correct. Not with praise, exactly, but with money, alternative land, or since he's developing the land, they protected with some of the apartments homes built. Exactly right. And you know what they got? This. Actually, we'll watch a video before we end here of the beating that they took. They didn't get a thank you even. Not an apartment, not land, not nothing, except for beatings is what they get. From Bezalel Smotrich, Benjamin Netanyahu, Itamar Ben Gvir, and the rest of the Israel Last uniparty globalists. A leader elevates his men. A greedy weakling like Smotrich uses and abuses them. Bingo. There's also the chance that Smotrich is evicting them because of Trump's latest peace plan. Great minds think alike. But we'll have to see whether it is complete treason or simply ingratitude. Exactly. Because it's certainly one or the other. And I just want to play this video. It was really hard to watch, honestly, but I think it's important to play it. Like I said, hold on, let me see if I can expand it a bit. Not sure if that's gonna work here. Okay. So it was, like I said, a little bit hard to watch, but we will do our best. Oh, you see how Bezalel Smotrich is rewarding them? Heroes. These are heroes of the state of Israel. This is how Bezalel Smotrich rewards them. Look at this. Look at this. Well, just take a look. Itamar Ben Gvir, these people answer to him. Keep that in mind when he asks you for your vote come next election. Take a look. This is what you get with Israel Last. This. Destruction not seen in Israel since October 7th. That's what you get. Listen, I'm completely out of words watching this video. Good luck to Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir getting the minimum into the Knesset next election. Good luck to them. Good luck. I don't know who the hell it is that they think is voting for them. But I'll tell you this, we're going to make sure that they lose. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that those two rotten traitor criminals do not come to the Knesset again. And you know what's the saddest part? I can't even watch any more of this video. I'm sorry. The saddest part about all of this is that they sit there and they say the Haredim should join the army. The Haredim should join we need the Haredim in the army. You have enough soldiers to do this, and you're telling me that you need more soldiers? If we had Haredim in the army, here's my question. If we added thousands and thousands and thousands more Haredim to the army, how many more Jewish homes would be destroyed? That's my question. Because they say they have a manpower problem, right? So perhaps they would just go around the whole country doing this to every Jew they could find. Is that something that we should be concerned about? I'm a little bit concerned about that. So anyway, a very bad day for Israel first and a very good day for Israel last. But notice, every time they act like this against the general public, the ranks of Israel first grow, because the message grows louder and louder, that there is absolutely no difference between right and left. The only difference in Israel is Israel first and Israel last. And the only question is, who is going to win? Are we going to allow the criminals of Israel last to steal our country from us, them and their American masters? Or will the heroes of Israel first rise up and take back what is rightfully ours?